Hey, what's up guys? In this video we're going to be breaking down if you can solo absolute difficulty after prestiging back to level 1, and we're going to be doing it on the assault class, which a lot of people consider to be one of the weaker classes, although my contrarian hipster take is that he's actually in the top 3 or 4, and the reason I say that is because he has armor reinforcement, which is one of the best perks, and it makes him really tanky, and also his movement ability can be really strong if you know how to utilize them. We're going to be trying a little bit of a different format today, where I'm just chopping up the most impactful parts of the run, because I know a lot of people don't have 45 minutes to watch a whole run all the way through and just listen to me rambling about it. So we're going to try and make it a little more concise today and just go over the most impactful parts that I think are entertaining or that we can learn something from. Okay, in this next part of the video, we're going to quickly go over the build. So the key perks are going to be Heavy Preparation, which reduces charge time by 30%, Following Blow, which gives you an instant heavy attack after a charged heavy, Tie to Battle, which increases the power wave distance by 8 meters, and then Majora's Slayer, which just gives you a bonus 10% against Majora's enemies. And then for the Heavy Bolt Pistol, I like to take the more ammo variant and then just go all the way across the bottom row and then come up to the top row for the last two. If you have difficulty with the headshots, for the very last perk, you can just take Divine Might instead of the 20% increased bonus damage on headshot, because it gives you a negative 10% if you hit a body shot. And then the two prestige perks I had when I reset were Adrenaline Boost and Practice Aim, which Practice Aim just gives you the 15% bonus damage. And then when you start the run, make sure to shoot the Trigon once for good luck. And then I'd like to head straight into this cave off to the right here, because there's a relic location in here. So the relic spot's right there in case you don't know. And then I just head through the cave and I drop down into the first sandy area and I head to this little structure off to the left here because it's a safe spot. But be careful because there's really not a lot of cover here, and as you can see in this clip, the ranged spike shooters are able to shoot at me and I don't have much cover to dodge their spikes, so try not to get in prolonged engagements here because you can end up getting your health chipped away. Up on this tower is a Gene Seed location, but I chose not to take it in this run since I was level 1 and I wanted to play it safe. Remember, it's always better to complete a run rather than risking it and dying, so if you're not super confident, just play it safe. There's nothing wrong with that. And then in this next part here, I'm trying to work my way up the ramp, and this is where the first really big swarm of enemies happens, and this ramp is a pretty bad spot to fight because the game engine just doesn't handle slopes very well, and sometimes it won't register your attacks or your parries, or sometimes enemy attacks won't register, and it can just get really chaotic overall. And you'll see in a second here the Whip Warrior attacks me and it's just not giving me the parries at all, so I take a bit of damage there. So now I'm down to pretty much no armor. So I'm going to do a tactical retreat here and work my way inside so that I can fight them in a more advantageous position for myself. Sometimes it helps to recognize when you just need to move the fight to a different area. So we're going to make our tactical retreat inside here. And then when you first get inside, this room off to the left here where those ammo boxes were can be a relic location. So make sure you check that. So I've dropped downstairs now and there's a Biovore in here with me. When you're solo running, make sure you're using your grenades liberally and just any chance you get, because there's tons of grenade pickups and they really do help. So I go ahead and use the crack grenade on the Biovore to take him out quickly and make sure that he doesn't get a chance to damage me. And then I'm going to quickly take care of this sniper here and just making sure to dodge his shots. Gonna get up a little closer, and sometimes when I'm in close range, I like to just shoot enemies without zooming in with the aiming. That way I can just kind of keep an eye on my surroundings, and that's one little hack I have to take less damage. Just keeping a good eye on your surroundings. Alright, and then we're going to work our way outside and head off to the next area here. In this next section, I've got to deal with these spike shooters, and then a zoanthrope and a ravener show up. So I'll show this little section on how I dealt with all this. This was probably the first kind of like tough battle that I came across, aside from it getting a little wonky on the ramp in the beginning. So I'm going through here dealing with the spike shooter and the barbed strangler shooter, and those little Minoris dudes kind of chipped away most of my armor, so I got to be careful here. And then I've got this zoanthrope trying to snipe me from far out there, and this ravener popping out here. Got kind of lucky with that dodge because I actually was dodging before he popped out, but I was still in the iframe. And then got a nice little dodge off there. I was shooting for the explosive barrel, but didn't get it there. And one thing about the Power Fist is it does struggle a little bit with crowds of Minoris compared to the Power Sword, but as long as you can hit your parries, you'll be fine. Or if you're playing on block, hit your blocks. Alright, get a nice charged hit up here. And then the Ravener is going to pop out one more time here and get a nice dodge off, and then quickly slam him. And remember, you don't need to fully charge up every slam. You can just quickly up and down to get some nice bonus damage off. And then finally he pops out one more time, and I'm going to take him out here. And then the heavy's actually going to finish off that zoanthrope right now. So, man, that heavy bot, I swear, man, he takes care of business when you've got him as a bot. So don't underestimate that dude. And so we're going to run over here to the elevator finally and move on to the next section. So I actually got through here without taking much damage at all. So not bad considering we're level 1 right now. We don't have any of our perks except the 2 prestige perks. No armor reinforcement to keep our armor up or anything. So it's going pretty well so far. And then in this next area coming up here, there can either be a relic or a gene seed right here, I believe. So make sure you check that. That's off to the right as soon as you get into this area. And then up here next to the mech is another relic location, so make sure you check that one. And just to give you a little reference point, it's before you go up this ramp here to get to the second floor leading into the other room. And then this was a kind of mid-sized fight that I had trying to get up to the second floor here up that ramp. So I'm getting a little bit swarmed by enemies, got my armor wiped out, got snipers shooting at me. So I'm just going to try to wipe these guys out as quickly as I can here by using one of my ground pounds. Anytime you start getting overwhelmed as assault, it's a good idea to just burn a ground pound and get some of the enemies cleared out to give yourself a little more space. So I got 2 armors back here, so I'm looking pretty good. And whenever you're in a battle, it's always a good idea to keep an eye on your armor. It's like a little mini game, constantly trying to make sure you're not down to 0 armor, because that's when stuff can start getting sketchy. So always just try to keep a mind on how much armor you've got. Got that guy cleared out. Then we got 1 double sword warrior left. Parry, parry, gun strike, and got him cleared out. And then we'll try to take out this sniper from long range. One thing I noticed is if you're on controller, bumping up the aim assist to strong instead of standard, it can help a little bit. I've been messing around with controller a little bit more lately to see how it is for you guys on console. And I don't know if I'm just not that great of a controller player or if it really is that much harder. I mean, I can get through Absolute with teammates, but I'm not sure if I could solo clear it. I tried a couple true solo Absolutes with controller, and that was absolutely a no-go. So, man, yeah, I feel like controller is quite a bit harder, so I hope you guys feel validated a little bit, at least. And if you are on controller, if you're on PC and you really are concerned with, being the best player you can be, think about switching over to mouse because even if it takes a little while to get used to it, it really is going to make you a lot better. And then as soon as you get into the Trigon room here, make sure you run up and grab this Melt-A-Bomb and run straight for the hole and put it down as quickly as you can. And usually you can blow up the wave that comes out of it, or at least part of it. And then one cool thing Assault can do in this part of the mission is you can jetpack over to the holes when you have the Melt-A-Bomb and then explode it on the hole as quickly as possible, and that can actually stop waves from being able to get out in time, so don't be afraid to use your jetpack to get there a little quicker. And then if you're running this mission solo like I was, sometimes it's a lot better to just ignore the wave for a second and just book it to the holes, because it takes so long to fight the waves that the next wave will just spawn out and you'll kind of get stuck in like a cycle of barely finishing off the wave before the next one comes, and then you don't really have time to blow up the holes, and then eventually you'll get extremist enemies spawning in on top of you on top of that. So just blow up the holes first, and then you can finish off the enemies if you want to. And then in this next part here, I had a pretty big enemy wave spawn in on me, so I've got about 3 or 4 ranged spike shooters in the background back there, and then some spore mines mixed in. I tried to shoot that electric canister on the ground there and partially blew myself up, so that was a bit of a bummer, and now I'm down to no armor trying to deal with these spike shooters, so things did get a little hairy here, but luckily I was able to land that clutch Power Fist charged attack, and then things kind of turned in my favor here, and then these 2 spike shooters got in the execute status, so I was able to fill up my armor pretty quickly here. So I'm just gonna kind of go from execution to execution as quickly as possible here, get out of the barbed strangler area on the ground, finish off this spike shooter. Whenever you've got a lot of spike shooters shooting at you, it's good to try to just go into melee executes and don't do gun strikes, because you need to get that invincible status during the melee execute to dodge those spike damage. So we're going to get that execute, finish off this guy here. And this was kind of funny. The Vanguard bot hook-shotted and then execution jacked me just like a real player would. So they're getting pretty accurate with this bot AI, it would seem. And then in this next part here, this is kind of one cool thing that Assault is good at, is if you don't need to take a lot of melee executes because there's not a lot of range damage coming at you, you can just kind of like gun strike stuff to death really quickly. You do have to be a little careful, but especially if you have the adrenaline boost prestige perk where you can't get knocked back by heavy attacks, you can just gun strike and then gun strike, and when you do it like that, you can kill stuff really fast, and it can just help you clear out waves of Majoris and extremist enemies really quickly. So yeah, definitely go for those gun strikes. Just make sure it's safe when you do it. And then we'll just finish off this double sword warrior and this lictor real quick, and then move on to the next section. And this is another reason why I think Assault is really good at solo running, because he can just ground pound the reinforcement calls and interrupt them. So he's really good at that. And then I made a silly mistake and died right here, just mistimed the parry, and then that little Minoris dude finished me off, but I've still got this life that I'm on and then the relic, so we're still looking pretty good. And then in this part here, I got jumped by Biovore and double Lictor, and that Biovore knocked me down as he was running past, and then the Lictors jumped out right when I was getting up, and I didn't have a chance to dodge or parry, so they wiped out my armor pretty quick. So I was in a little bit of a bad spot here, but luckily I got the clutch dodge off on the red circle attack, got the parry, and then it rewarded me with the gun strike, so I was able to get that Lictor finish off pretty quick. And then I'm going to start making my way down to the Biovore here. I don't like to leave Biovores out there hanging around, because the spore mines that they shoot out, they can actually start shooting out quite a few spore mines, and they can build up pretty quickly. And spore mines are just asking for trouble if you've got them hanging around, so usually I put a pretty big priority on getting Biovores cleared out. And the best way to clear out a Biovore is to just stand fairly close to them, but not right up on them, so that they'll get out of their artillery stance and then they'll jump at you with the blue circle attack, and then you can just parry and gun strike. So I'm going to make my way over to the Biovore here, but I've got this little group of Minoris enemies chasing me, and then this Lictor pops out, so I finish him off with a nice parry and gun strike. And then we're going to go over to the Biovore here, and there was a explosive right by him. I don't know if it damaged him since he was in the artillery mode, but figured I'd try at least. And then yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Just stand mid distance from him, shoot him a bit so he jumps at you and get the gun strike. And that's mostly the most efficient way I found to take them out. And when you're walking up to them, make sure that you're killing the spore mines as soon as he shoots them out. That way they don't get up on you and explode on you. So I picked up the brain out of the console here in the center, and then I had another Biovore spawn in on me. So I'm gonna walk up and take him out, and once again we're just focusing on getting the spore mines cleared out ASAP so they can't cause any problems. And then he didn't blue circle attack at me this time, so I've got to take him out in a little bit closer range, and luckily I got the clutch dodge on that red circle attack. And then that spore mine was about to blow up on me, but so I just mashed the execute button, and luckily I got into the execute status before it damaged me. I ended up taking out this zoanthrope without too much of a problem, but it took a while because I was dodging back and forth behind that box. But in this next part here, we're getting attacked by triple Ravener, and if you've seen my absolute advanced tips video, then you'll know that focusing on defense first in these scenarios is what's going to keep you alive. So I'm just working on making sure that I get my parries off first and don't take gun strikes if I'm not safe. So I'm just gun striking when I know I'm not going to get hit by a heavy attack and stunned. And that's the key to defeating triple extremist enemies. Just make sure you parry or block all the attacks first that you need to, and then go on the attack yourself. So we're about to finish off the first Ravener here, and it can be a good idea to just use your pistol when you're assault, when you're in tough situations, because sometimes committing to like charging up a melee attack, you can get stuck in that animation, and it can get you hit a lot of the time. So sometimes just, you know, pot shotting with your pistol can be the best course of action until you know it's safe to like charge up a big heavy attack like what I'm doing right here. So we're gonna hit this Ravener with our charged heavy and finish him off, and that was the last one, so we're all good to go. And this clip right here is a great example of why you want to take adrenaline boost for your first prestige perk if you're playing as assault, because right here I get clipped by a couple of the double sword warrior attacks, and normally I would have gotten knocked back and stun locked and just comboed to death probably, but because I had the adrenaline boost, I just was able to power right through it. And that's one of the number one things that can boost your survivability, is just minimizing getting knocked around. So definitely consider picking up adrenaline boost if you prestige. And it was pretty smooth sailing all the way the rest of the way to the boss arena, and the video's getting pretty long, so I wanted to just get to the boss fight. So here we go on the first part of the boss fight here. So I like to just run around the arena and check for medkits first thing I get in here, especially if he's focused on one of the bots at the time. And then as soon as I'm done doing that, I start getting some damage in. When he's jumping at other teammates, it's a little hard to hit him while he's in the air, but if he's jumping at you, you can kind of headshot him while he's flying through the air and get some little extra bonus damage in, just like I did right there. See, just aim right for his head because it's pretty open as he's flying through the air. And then he's still going after my Vanguard bot here, so I'm free to just take some pod shots at him. And I really, you know, if I think I have time, I should be charging up the fist more like I am right here. It can be a little tricky in this boss fight since the Trigon goes underground, but there is a split second right after he goes under where you can still get the damage counted. So you'd be surprised how much time you actually have to charge up a Power Fist hit on him. And then when he goes into this second mode here where he goes underground and makes the holes, just grab the Melt-A-Bomb and run straight for the hole. Don't mess around. And it doesn't matter if there's enemies around or anything. Don't try to clear them out first. Just run straight for the hole and try not to take damage on your way. Because if you just try to clear out the enemies, the Trigon's just going to be lurking around and he could have a chance to damage you, or more and more enemies will spawn, and it just gets pretty messy. So I found the best way is just to run straight for the hole. And I got lucky on that one because it was just one hole, but it's random, so you can get 2 or 3 sometimes. And then anytime he's going after a teammate or a bot, just aim right at his head because that's how you're going to get the most damage. So we're just getting off some more pot shots here. And this fight does take a little while in this run, especially because I'm level 1, so my damage isn't like super high. And then he manages to kill one of the bots here and then gets a big hit on me. One thing I've noticed is when he's doing his arm swipe attacks, it's always in pairs. So you usually want to parry, parry, then gun strike. Sometimes it seems like he might just do one, just wait a second, and usually the second swipe will come out. So he's charging up his half health electric attack here. If you ever get caught in the electric field as Assault, just boost out of it with your jetpack before it goes off, and that should save you. I've had to do that a couple times as Assault. And yeah, if you time the dodge on his jump out just perfectly, it'll give you a gun strike opening, but it can be dangerous to take it because he sometimes goes into the arm swipes right away after his pop out, so you gotta be careful. Because sometimes you can be gun striking and he'll get you with the arm swipe. So he managed to take me down there and I had to use the relic finally, but that's what we picked it up for, you know, so I was glad I had it in the end. And got out of the electric field without too much problems here. Just getting some more chip damage on him. Maybe I should have ran up closer and charged up the Power Fist on him. So I got off a 1 charge. And then it seems like the talent for the immediate second attack after the charged attack, that one doesn't seem to have as much range on it because it didn't seem like it was hitting him when I was doing it there. So watch out for that. And then he's made some more holes here, so we're just going to run up and take those out right away. And it's always nice if you can get more of the enemies caught in your Melt-A-Bomb blast, but sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. Alright, so it looks like just one hole again, so I got pretty lucky. And we've almost got him down here. And when he does that attack where he rears up on his tail and crosses his arms, you can just run straight backwards really fast. And 90% of the time when you do it like that, you'll be safe. You'll be out of range by the time he actually does the attack. And I found when he does the jump outs, dodging towards him is usually the most reliable way. Or you could just not dodge at all like I did right there. But anyway, that's it. That's the run, guys. That's my level 1 Assault absolute solo run. And I'll keep the clip of me leveling up all the way to level, I think, 7 or 8 in here. That way you guys can see that I was clearly level 1 for this. So I'll quickly fast forward through the victory loading screen. And then here we go. So 5400 XP, and I only got a B extermination rank, but not bad. And then I had 483 damage taken, which is, you know, there's definitely room for improvement there, but not bad. And then so we're going to go from level 1 to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So not bad at all. 8 levels in one run. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it for me. And if you have been enjoying my content, consider subscribing. It really does help the channel, and we're getting close to 1,000 subscribers, so I'd really appreciate it, you guys. But if you made it to the end of the video, just thank you so much for watching, and leave a comment down below and let me know if you guys have been doing any level 1 absolute runs and how that's going for you. Oh, and if you haven't seen my top 5 advanced absolute difficulty tips, it should be popping up right about now.